I'm Daryl Potton. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you around a few items you might want to collect if you're a beginner at scrapping. Now these are just a few items you might want to consider if you're scrapping. You're going to get halfway decent money so you're not wasting your time. Any type of motor, got a fuse box here, these pieces inside there. You get the plastic out of it. Most of the time all this is copper in here. It don't look like it, but once you snip the end you'll see. Now that's going to probably be aluminum, but then we'll come right out. And over here, this is like a power pack that come out of the trailer. It's a power inverter. Inside there's a big transformer. More likely, if it's an older model, it's going to be copper. And that's pretty heavy. You got a vacuum. You don't need the rest. That motor ain't going to take much to get that out of there. It'll be probably about half a pound of copper. So same with the fans. Got another little motor here to come out of something, I don't know what, but electric motors, transformers, anything to do with electrical components is your best bet to find copper. And at this time, if you're trying to get into scrapping, you're going to want to get a little bit of copper so it makes it worth your trip up there. Another thing is a old light ballast out of the old fluorescent lights. Got to break this thing open. There's some tar stuff in there, but there's usually copper transformer inside there. I mean, the newer ones, it's not going to be as much, so if you get an older one, you're probably going to have pretty good luck. Now this is another transformer. This is a pretty good size one, and I don't remember exactly what it come out of. I know for sure there's going to be some copper inside there. We got a little small electric motor to come out of something. This all here, this is going to be copper in there, and another transformer to come out of some kind of electrical. That's going to be copper in there too. And if you're really getting down to the nitty gritty, you got little small transformers like that too. If you got a lot of them, they add up. It takes a lot of work, but if you, even for something on your side, you just do a little bit at a time and stack it up and bring it in when you get 10-20 pounds. This, obviously everyone knows what this is, so there's a little bit of copper inside that also. And also you got wire. You got a little bit of house wiring, extension cords, cutoffs. This was the cutoff from that trailer. I'll have to get that piece off there. But you can bring it in just like this, and you're going to get about $1 or a quarter a pound. So just for example, we'll take this extension cord here, do a little converting. That's going to be about $5 just for that. So, you know, if you got a couple, I wouldn't recommend throwing good ones away, but if you got old crappy ones that messed up, cash in, get a little bit of money for them. Then you got old sink faucets, you can bring them in. Most of the time they're brass. You gotta take the plastic handles off, but that I believe is about $1.25 or so a pound. Also, might even be more. I'll have to check. But then you got brass fittings. They're on water heaters. You just keep taking all the small pieces off, and after a while they add up. Yeah, there's no sense of trying to get in a hurry if you're a beginner scrapper on this. You can learn a few tricks along the way to make it easier. It all takes time. You start out small, you know, start out with tearing a few electric motors apart or even collecting cans. Most people collect cans. I mean, you don't have to stop there. I mean, you want to try to recycle and make the most out of it instead of putting it in a landfill. So, well, pitched together, it's going to help out. I mean, I know some of the stuff is a little tedious to take apart, but I got a lot more time on my hands than most people because they got full-time jobs. I understand that. But even in the spare time, you know, to make yourself a few bucks, if you go out there and tear a few things apart every night, before you know it, after a month, you have $300-400 worth of scrap. Now some of you might be asking, well, how do I know if it's aluminum? How do I know if it's copper? Well, pretty much the code is if it's any type of metal that's worth any value, you take a little magnet like this, and if it don't stick, then that's good. That means there's going to be a higher price scrap. If it sticks, then more likely it's not going to bring a lot. You're going to have to have a lot of weight. It's mostly metal frames off of all kinds of various stuff. But the general rule is if a magnet don't stick to the metal that you're trying to bring in, that means it's going to be worth a little bit more than the average metal. So I encourage everyone to take a few minutes and try to do a little recycling and scrap. Make yourself a few extra bucks. At that, I'm going to call it a day and get outside and eat supper. So I'm Daryl Potton, and thanks for everyone joining along, and I'll see you in the next one.